Hello, everybody. Welcome to another day here at the RSL. I'm Tasteless, and joined with me is State. How's it going, man?
Going pretty well, dude. I'm hyped to be continuing here at the playoff brackets. It's day number 2. We had some really fun best of 5 series yesterday, and now we got a spicy little PvP and a TVT best of 5 coming at you.
Going to be all mirror matchups here today. Yesterday turned out to be really exciting. I really enjoyed the Raynor versus ByuN match. If you missed that, I think maybe my favorite series so far here in the RSL for the season. So we have Cure and ByuN now up here in the winners semis in the A section of the bracket. Today it's going to be Trigger Classic versus Maru ByuN.
Yeah, and I'm excited for this Trigger Classic game. Classic, kind of surprisingly, only got second place in his group, as Raynor was able to take number 1 last week during the group stages, but as we all know, Classic, I mean, there's basically no argument. He's the best Protoss player in the world right now, but Trigger has been really impressing me lately. It feels like he is absolutely leveled up here in 2025, so that's going to be a pleasure. And then Maru versus ByuN, what more could he ask for in a TVT? That's going to be explosive.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully it is a back and forth. I do feel like Maru has flexed on ByuN quite a bit, TVT in the past. I mean, Maru's a very, very tough player to take down here. Guys, if you're joining us here live, welcome. If you want to join us for the other days, we're going to be on Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll be wrapping up this season of the RSL with 4 days in a row for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's been so fun to put this on, by the way. We really appreciate you guys supporting us and helping us build out this little studio space where we can do these high-end productions.
Yep, 7 p.m. KST every single day you see on screen. RSL is coming at you, and it's nice to be able to come back here in Season 2 and just absolutely speed through this thing. And let's not forget, we have Season 3 around the corner as well. It's going to be happening later this year. And in December of 2025, thanks to your support and the support of our sponsors, RSL Revival is going to have an offline finals live in Seoul. That means live casters, live players, live audience, all in the same studio. 15 million Korean won prize pool. That is going to be such a treat to cast Tasteless. I cannot wait.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I was actually looking at venues this week. We haven't set a date down yet. We're going to see what days make sense for us to do it on. But if you want to come down and you want to watch live, there will be tickets for sale for that. And that's just going to be so fun to put on. A big live event with an audience, players there, casters there, fans there, all that.
It'll be a great way to cap off the year. And big thanks, by the way, to our official sponsor, Archon Studio. They are making the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game, and that's going to be available for pre-orders later this year. And go check them out, man. They've got a lot of cool tabletop miniature games, not just for StarCraft, but a ton of awesome games. And for me, it's something that personally I've never really been exposed to in the world. I kind of vaguely knew about these tabletop miniatures things for a ton of different games, but the fact that we're going to have something like this for StarCraft, I think it's going to be the first one that I pick up personally. I'm looking forward to putting that on my mantelpiece in the streaming room, dude. It's going to be exciting.
They've got a ton of great products on the site, so definitely check them out. Not just a StarCraft miniature set, but all sorts of other things. Consider joining our Patreon. We've got a ton of people signing up every day. We've got new members coming on board. We want to carry the torch on into the future of StarCraft II. You know how like every year someone on Reddit is having a panic? What's going to happen with StarCraft II? What's next? We're not going anywhere, okay? We love StarCraft. We want to keep doing it. So if you want to support us, you know that RSL is always going to be here. We've got different tiers that we offer. If you want to be more engaged with the tournament, for instance, some of the higher tiers, you can vote on guest spots for players. You can vote on maps. And yeah, I mean, support what you love. So consider getting on our Patreon. We would love to have you guys join us.
Yeah, and of course, if you support on Patreon, you also get a 20% discount on all Tasteless TV merch at tastelessthreads.com. And that doesn't just include Tasteless TV's own special merchandise, but also the RSL hoodie, the mug, the shirt, the pins. You can be completely decked out with RSL gear. You can be wearing the shirt, wearing the hoodie, sipping coffee out of your RSL mug with a little pin on your cap.
That's right.
What more could you ask for?
Well, we need RSL pants. We do have that. RSL pants and underpants and socks and maybe hats and wrist guards.
Wrist guards,
yeah, little
like
wrist
that.
guards. I know some of you guys are Terran players. You've got very tender wrists.
The
okay?
pros players are fine.
You
don't
destroyed
need it.
your wrists with Stutter Step Micro. Don't worry, we'll eventually get those wrist guards. On a serious note, guys, you need to join our YouTube. Please subscribe there. Even if you watch us live on Twitch or X or wherever we're streaming, Please go and subscribe, like the videos on YouTube if you want to do something that's free and it's helped support us. We're trying to get this show pushed out as much as possible into the StarCraft algorithm. There's a lot of people that, they don't follow StarCraft so much on like news sites or forums. In some ways, it is kind of a data way to keep up with things. Now it's about algorithms, right? So if you're liking our videos and you like StarCraft content in general, it's going to find, our videos will find more people like you. And that's ultimately our mission here, is to get this to as many fans or potential fans of the game as possible.
Yeah, the team's also done a very good job of setting up, spoiler-free playlists for Season 1 and for Season 2. It's just a great way to digest RSL, whether you want to relive moments after watching them live, or if you can't catch it live and you want to tune in later. Anyway, guys, we're going into the first best of 5 of the day. It's going to be a PvP coming at you, Trigger versus Classic. Of course, winner of this match is going to move on into the upper bracket semifinals. Loser is not out of the RSL Season 2 just yet. One of them will be falling into the losers bracket.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. I think Classic's, he's got to be the favorite, right? The RSL champion here. But Trigger is pretty crafty. He's really improved a lot. He's one of the newer great players here in the scene. So I'm interested in seeing how this goes. It looks like Game 1 has loaded up. It's going to be on the map Persephone. Let's get this best of 5 started.
All right, spawning down here in the bottom left, blue Protoss, it is Trigger. And in the top left of the red Protoss, it is Classic. And one of the things that's really impressed me with Trigger, not just this year as he's kind of come to the forefront of especially American Protoss players in general. For a long time it felt like it was just Estrella that was on top of the Americas, but now Trigger is looking so spectacular. It's his control. He reminds me a little bit of Huck, just the flair with which he's able to micro.
Yeah.
And for good reason, too, because it's not just the ladder games that he uses to practice. I watch this guy stream a ton, and he's always playing Osu. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Our producer Ziggy knows absolutely how to pronounce it, but the clicking game where there's music playing and you're trying to move the mouse cursor through.
Osu. Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't understand what you said at first.
It's like Oz or something. I don't know how to actually
Osu,
pronounce
right?
it.
Oz? No, he's wrong. That can't be right.
No, he told me. He corrected my pronunciation a month or two ago when we were talking about this.
The clicking rhythm game is Oz.
Okay, well, to me as an American, it's Osu.
No, it's Osu. That can't be right. I thought the game was called Osu. Yeah, that's right.
But Trigger, he's really good at that game, and he's also a big player of these custom maps in StarCraft II that are micro trainers. I see him tweeting about them occasionally and
right?
Challenging other people to do them, these Blink micro trainers. We have to go against
Dude, that's so
a
funny.
supercomputer kind of thing and see if you can out micro it.
You know what? I haven't thought about micro trainers in a long time. I used to use them in StarCraft 1. Mm-hmm. I never messed with them in StarCraft 2.
Oh, they're so good in StarCraft 2.
Okay, that's interesting. I always in the back of my head wanted to do a Micro Wars tournament.
We would probably get players for that too. I know that Clem also plays a lot of them. I feel like Clem and Trigger are probably the two best micro. I can't remember the name of the map off the top of my head, but you kind of you bid and draft the units, and then you do micro battles with everybody else in the lobby. Clem and Trigger, anytime I join those lobbies, they always absolutely destroy.
One of the things about those micro trainers is it teaches you it's not just about being fast. There's a certain way you want to prioritize what you're attacking. You know what I mean? And there's a way to handle the game correctly. And I learned so much when I was much younger, my high school years, and how to play the game. So in this game, we have Classic. He's put a proxy robo here in the left center of the map. So this is going to be very aggressive. Now, Trigger is going for a Stargate opening, and basically, with this expansion, we're in about a minute here going to see this attack come in, and Trigger has to defend. If he loses here, he'll probably lose the game.
Yeah, and Trigger's going Oracle first behind this. He doesn't know about the proxy robo just yet, although he might be suspicious that there is not an expansion, the natural expansion just yet here for Classic, but with a Warp Prism coming online here in just a moment, and so many Stalkers and Adepts streaming across the map right now here for Classic.
So it's kind of a funny spot he hides that, because you can see on the map the scout actually never veers into that side. I think someone might look at this map and think the right side's a good spot to hide things, but this is going to be spotted just by the scouting path here of the Oracle. And honestly, spotting this when the Warp Prism's only halfway done is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's going to give him a lot more time to prepare. The Void Ray was immediately queued up after the Oracle, but with a shield battery here, it's not going to be easy for Trigger to get much damage done. He is just going to drain the energy here on this shield battery instead of going for the stasis trap there on the mineral line after he of course, activated that Oracle to take down 2 or 3 probes earlier. And energy recharge is going to be forced here on that shield battery as a result. Oracle going to be retreating into the top left side. All things considered, 4 probes, considering with a shield battery, that's some good damage.
Okay, he's going to come in now. And, I mean, the Stalker drop's going to be really tough to deal with. I guess the shield battery, actually, as long as the shots are staggered, can just keep healing this. The Warp Prism's going to drive this out.
Yeah, Classic so far not getting very much damage done, but
Yeah.
as the Robo player here of the Warp Prism, it's kind of more about hitting that critical mass of Stalkers. And so the fact that he hasn't lost anything yet, we're going to have 7 or 8 Stalkers, maybe even more, coming into the natural expansion in a moment.
I actually got a question for you. I'm actually not sure. I always thought
Yeah.
you wanted to hit the front first with this and not drop in. But is that correct? You want to win with this by hitting the natural, right?
Yeah, but I think you need that critical mass. So now that Classic actually has it, he's able to jump on this position. Some cheeky micro here, the Warp Prism as well, lifting up these low HP Stalkers. And when you have this many Stalkers, you can just dive on that natural expansion. The Void Ray is a little bit too far forward right there. And this is why Classic dropped in the main base earlier. You can't really do this attack successfully until you have that critical group of Stalkers. And with Trigger, he does have 1 more Void Ray coming in, but these shield batteries, they are drained of energy. There's only 1 or 2 units that are warping in at a time. The probes are getting pulled. There is a possibility that Trigger is able to hold on, but with more Stalkers warping in, Tasteless, it's looking pretty grim.
Oh, apparently there was an Oracle killing workers up there. I don't know if that's going to be that impactful. I think there's still enough workers here to kind of get the momentum with the Stalkers brought back in. This Warp Prism's at full health, so I mean, you know, it's not going to be taken out anytime soon here. The Void Ray was, I don't know why I forgot what that unit was called. It was just picked off. Now he's starting to push him back. The Warpins are not coming in as fast, but I do feel like we're right on the verge, right on the tipping point here of potentially this game being a victory right now for Classic.
Yeah, Trigger's going to be pulling all of the probes from that main mineral line. I like this decision a lot. They're going to be soaking up a lot of damage. The Stalkers, they're not able to dispatch those probes very quickly, and for Trigger, considering that his economy is kind of bare bones in this moment, it's a smart move. He can't really afford Void Ray production. He just needs to stabilize. Energy recharge is going to be available here in a moment again for Trigger. I think he used it on the main base earlier, but if he can get it in the natural expansion, he might still hold on.
Yeah,
it's
I might have
looking
been
scary,
wrong here.
but
I want to take back what I said. I kind of thought the game was about to end, but Trigger's control was very good. I guess I was wrong also about the amount of workers that were still alive here for Classic, because the Warpins really slowed down, and that sort of allowed Trigger to squeak out just enough units that he can maybe hang on here. Now, there's going to be a sentry made here, and this is going to, force field the ramp, execution on the probes, bringing the number down to 14 alive in this game. There's really no way to save the Nexus. You can see that there's just enough. It's actually so funny. Stays alive. There's just enough energy on the shield battery that he can't quite kill that off. I think there's a world where you might even try to push up the ramp here. If he should have maybe a Guardian shield ready to go.
yeah, with a Warp Prism, I see there's no reason not to. You have vision on the high ground. You can take down the gateway, the pylon, the shield battery all here, and even if you try to breach into the natural or into the main base on that ramp, you can just lift up the Stalkers that get isolated by the force field. So for Trigger, honestly, this was closer a hold than I was imagining it would be after those 2 Void Rays just got jumped onto the natural expansion a few minutes ago. But with his tenacity and his control, he has been able to make this a closer game. Unfortunately for Trigger, Classic is just starting to pull away in this one. 22 probes to 17. Natural expansion has fallen here for Trigger, and like I said, some of these units, they get isolated on the ramp, but with a Warp Prism, you can't really get any of the finishing kills here against a player with Classic's caliber of micro.
Yeah, I mean, Trigger is hurting right now. Now, Classic, he's locked in here. He's going to try to come in here with a killing blow. He can juggle the units back out. Now, there's a world where this game just goes on, okay? I think Classic may be able to come in here with that killing blow in a little bit. There's an Immortal being made back at home, by the way, which is basically a anti-Stalker unit for the scenario in this game. The Oracle's been picked off, so that little caveat in this game is gone. You know, the opportunity to maybe try to get workers killed there. Basically, with the Warp Prism still at full health, you got to remember, Stalkers, the way this game works, the shots have to connect for the damage to be done, which creates this micro potential where you can actually have your Stalkers dodge their shots. It's not like Marines where you just see them fire and that's when the damage connects. So, excuse me, this is going to be the moment he's going to push in here. We should see GG any second.
Yeah, Trigger's going to fight on here for a couple more moments, but the riding is pretty much on the wall. Classic completely breaching the main base right now with an overwhelming force, and Trigger, try as he might, it will be Classic taking game number 1 here on Persephone. And I mean, Trigger is nothing if not a fighter, man. He's going to go down swinging here.
He's tenacious, man. He's going to get this Immortal out, but I mean, the sheer number of Stalkers in this game alone could flatten this whole position. GG, game 1 going to Classic there. Pretty exciting game. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the control there for Trigger.
Yeah,
I mean, he did a great job.
He was playing from behind army-wise for like 4 or 5 minutes, basically. From the first attack of the natural expansion, it was him just trying to manage the crisis with his control.
Had that Oracle not gotten in there and gotten so many kills, I think the game would have ended much more quickly.
Yeah.
But, you know, he did a good job. He was doing his best to hang on with the Void Rays. The Void Ray is just not a good unit in that moment.
It's essential to have the Void Ray for the defense, but if they get isolated the way they do with the natural expansion, they need a buffer. It has to be either force field or some units in front of them, because the moment that they get surrounded with like 10 plus Stalkers in range, like even with a shield battery, they're going to get 2-shot.
And it's easy to micro Stalkers into a Warp Prism versus a Void Ray.
Yeah.
That is among like maybe one of the easiest things to do. So yeah, I mean, game 1 goes to Classic. Remember, this is a best of 5. Actually, I got faked out there for a second because the way the thing loaded, it just showed 3 maps, and I'm like, I swear I know how my own tournament works. So yeah, it is going to be a best of 5. And we're going to go on to Botanical here for map number 2.
Yeah, Botanical, one of the maps voted in by our Patreon supporters, and it's been really fun casting some of these games on maps like Botanical, like Kill Switch. I'm almost ashamed to say I was a little bit skeptical about having people vote in these maps that are unorthodox. I was like, well, you know, the map pool, it's always been pretty solid and competitive. StarCraft II, I'm pretty happy with the maps. I wasn't especially keen on it, but now that we've actually had these maps come in, I must say they have really elevated the experience here.
Yeah.
Like these games on maps like Botanical and Kill Switch have been so aggressive. They've been very unique. They're not something that you typically see in StarCraft II, at least not of the pro scene, and it's been such a treat, man. I mean, our Patreon supporters have done an excellent job of selecting just the coolest maps to feature in this tournament.
And we take it upon ourselves to try to pick out maps that have interesting ideas. You know, this is one thing, and I get it, because like, when I ladder, like, I don't want weird maps. Like, pro gamers tend to avoid maps that are too uncomfortable because it requires so much thought, but I think forcing a couple in there, the value that we get out of that as like students of the game is really good, because then we see how the races function in different environments. And of course, we always want to have a core set of maps that have kind of standard parameters, so that we do see gameplay that you can like replicate on the ladder, as an example.
Yeah, I've been reevaluating my perspective on map making for a little bit since RSL Season 1. I was wait, those maps are actually really good. Why is this something that we don't see more?
Well, I think what happens is sometimes map makers, when they get creative, they take 5 really crazy ideas instead of taking 1 or 2. Like, this is a problem. Actually, in ASL, this was like a huge problem, is that the map would be so insane, and I'm like, well, this is good, but this is so, like, this, we should have a map like this in 20 years, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we take a couple of these ideas, because, you change a couple features on a map, or, like, change the positioning, or introducing something like the healing zone, right? That's big, and that can really change, like, the whole metagame or strategies, or maybe we find out one matchup isn't really fair on a map like that. But yeah, I mean, anyways, I think the maps that we've picked out here, or that I should say our Patreon supporters have picked out, I think are really good.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and already we see a pretty big divergence here in terms of builds, although Trigger does throw down the natural expansion, so not going to be quite too significant. Actually, skipping gateway units entirely here to get a very fast Stargate is Trigger, and I like that choice quite a bit. You know that Classic is playing greedy with the low ground wall in here on Botanical, going for the very quick expansion. Actually going to be Stargate versus Stargate, so there is potential for this to turn into a Phoenix War Tasteless. And I think Classic, I believe he actually scouted the Stargate in the main base of Trigger, and that is why he's throwing down this. Okay, both players know. Both players have probes in the enemy's base. They both know Stargates are getting thrown down. If we see fast third gases come in at the natural expansion of both of these players, I feel like we're basically guaranteed to have a Phoenix versus Phoenix War. I don't know if we're going to go down that path.
I don't feel like I've casted a game where both players are going Phoenixes in a long time.
Yeah, you don't get to cast enough Max Pax games, dude.
Yeah.
He's the king of Phoenix versus Phoenix.
So the first Phoenix is going to pop out here. And yeah, this is one of these things, because they're both in the same lane of tech. Oh, and this is actually going to be better for Trigger here. It can turn into this arms race where you basically can't back down. And it makes for a very specific game. So the second air unit is going to be a Phoenix here for Classic, but we should mention that Trigger has a 1 Phoenix lead. I'm actually excited to cast this game. I feel like I never get to cast this situation ever. Like I see it in other tournaments or when other people are casting, but for me, I don't get to explore this very often.
Yeah, and Trigger knows that he has a 1 Phoenix lead too, so he's being really aggressive with his first Stalker, and normally in Phoenix versus Phoenix, you want to keep your Phoenix back at home because Defender's advantage is huge, but...
Yeah. Actually, one thing... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. One thing about Phoenix versus Phoenix 2, it's when you get the 2 Phoenix lead that's much bigger, because on this map, it's like 1 Phoenix build time is like the same as the travel time to get across the map. So when you get 2, that's where you can start to really put the pressure on here. We've got the Stalker here for Trigger coming up, doing a little bit of damage over here to this Adept.
Yeah, in Classic, I think it's a smart choice just to try and sacrifice this Adept so that one of them will shade past the Graviton Beam back to safety. Trigger eventually is able to track that one down, and we do now have a 3rd gas coming in here for Trigger. Classics, I believe, is already online there at the Natural Expansion, and in fact, even, I think that's a 4th gas coming here for Classic. So, 2nd Stargate, absolutely a possibility for both these guys. We'll see if that's going to be the move.
Okay, so when you get the Phoenix versus Phoenix fight, usually when one side wins, that's kind of when the game completely falls apart.
Oh yeah, it just snowballs so hard.
It's actually very simple. So he's going to try to come in here. Oh, I hadn't really thought about this. I guess you can put Stalkers on the outside and just try to attack the Stargate because that's really the most important building. Although it didn't end up doing that much. You also want to be careful to not run in and pick up workers in Phoenix vs. Phoenix too quickly because they don't attack when they pick up workers, so you might get worker kills and then you lose the fight.
Yeah, you need to make sure that you know where the opponent's Phoenixes are because if they get the jump on you when you're in the main base, like Trigger is right now trying to pick up Phoenixes, it could be very dangerous. Of course, Trigger does have that 1 Phoenix lead. Okay, engagement now coming in. Nice micro by Classic to pull it back. Now both players just focus firing. Guardian Shield going to be helping these Phoenix here for Classic, and this is one of the risks that Tasteless was talking about when you go for those probes. Yes, 3 workers did go down, but at the end of the day, Trigger, who used to have a Phoenix lead, is now behind 1 Phoenix versus Classic.
So... I mean, I'm kind of surprised to see Trigger move in at that moment. He did lose a couple Phoenixes, and he's opted out of making more Phoenixes. So he doesn't want to play a losing fight. He's getting a Robo, he's getting a Forge.
Both players have, in fact.
Yeah. So a lot of times, when the fight comes in and one guy dominates and all the Phoenixes are gone, that's when you can go across the map and start picking up workers and killing everything off. So that was an exchange where like Trigger's going to stay alive for a little bit longer here. Not the kind of game we were talking about like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, we're not going to have that true Skytoss versus Skytoss battle. And in fact, it will be Classic with a much faster blink coming in. His blink basically timed out, I want to say like a minute or 2 faster than Trigger's. Of course, Chrono Boost can make up for some of that gap, but Classic is going to be trying to exploit this advantage quite significantly here. Trigger is able to spot those units moving in, but this means that Classic could also go on the hunt with his Phoenix aggressively positioned.
So he's going to move in here. He's going to get that first pickup. Man, that battery is giving a lot of sustain over there. However, this fight is going to do so much damage. The Phoenixes from Trigger are going to try to scramble back here. The probes have not gone up the ramp, so there could be a big execution over there. There's a Stalker coming down here. Oh, I'm sorry. An Immortal is what I actually meant to say. But I think this is going to be game here because now, even with an Immortal being the counter to Stalkers, the Phoenixes just pick this up. Yeah, they get the kill.
That's basically just it. Trigger has literally no combat units right now. It is 38 probes and nothing else on his side of the map. A couple of Stalkers are going to finish here, but with Graviton Beam, there is just no way that you're stopping this army here from Classic. There isn't DT tech or anything tricky like that in the pipeline here for Trigger, so he doesn't even really have a way to get this pressure off his back. And try as he might with these Stalkers coming down the ramp and the probes getting pulled, I think that eventually these Phoenix and Stalkers are going to be able to solidify this win here for Classic.
Yeah. Oh, he actually gets a pin on that one Stalker up there. It's kind of funny. The problem is that the Phoenixes can basically, go unpunished here.
Yeah, Trigger might not be dead yet, but he is dead.
Compared to some games we're doing play-by-play, this is a lion eating a gazelle right now. Like, the gazelle's not dead yet, but is going to lose this fight.
Anytime you're down 95 supply to 45, it's a pretty dire situation, and Trigger is He's not one to give up easily. He cancels, I think, the third base to try and get some more money to stabilize back at home. But Classic, he's up 15 workers. He has a third base now coming online here with probes mining from there. And he's even setting up, I think, a proxy gateway here outside of the natural expansion. So after 1 or 2 warp-ins, I think the finishing blow, the coup de grace, will be coming in here for Classic, especially with Link done already.
Yeah. I mean, this many Stalkers with the Phoenixes. There's like 1 Phoenix for every Stalker that Trigger has right now. So he's going to get some of these pickups over here. Blink's going to finish right when there's no more Stalkers in this game. And when those force fields dissipate, the Immortal is going to be in here, win the mix as well.
Yep. GG. Wow, Classic. I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't have a proper Phoenix versus Phoenix. Like, we did for a little bit on 2 bases, but when I saw the 3rd and the 4th gas come into the natural expansion, I was really expecting either of Trigger or Classic to just lean super heavily into the Sky Toss.
I think Trigger made a mistake when he moved in there and tried to kill the workers. I think that then he lost just enough Phoenixes, and I don't blame him for abandoning the tech, because, I mean, what are you going to do? If you're, like, behind by, like, 4 Phoenixes, what are we doing? Like, you'll literally just never catch up. But then, you know, with Classic having the Phoenix advantage, he can just pluck out different units in the fight, and it's a really easy game to win. So
yeah, having all those Stalkers too, the counterpunch is just fatal. Anyway, guys, we're going to go to a short break. Oh, wait, no, not yet. Not yet. Hold the phone.
You've lost your mind. We're not going to break just yet. We need to plug the Patreon.
I'm getting ahead of myself,
People are getting back on the couch. They're getting back in their computer chairs, and some of them are getting the credit card out, okay? Because they're going to sign up for the Patreon, whether it's $5 or more, whatever you can do. If you have can't afford to sign up, at least join our Patreon. There's like a, what is it? Is it a follow or is it join?
It's a follow.
It's a follow button, but you can follow that. But if you could, yeah, consider supporting our cause here. We want to continue to produce high quality. You can put it back up. We're going to produce high quality content. They don't want to look at me. They want to look at this graphic, Ziggy.
It's a beautiful graphic.
It's a beautiful graphic. They come back to me and my face. They go, "Aww."
Credit card goes back in the pocket.
No, we want to create high quality, well produced StarCraft tournaments. So yeah, consider signing up. I guess that's it, guys. We're going to go to a short break. When we return, we're going to see if Trigger can come back with a 3-0. Otherwise, he's going to be knocked out. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, guys. Thank you for waiting. We're going to be going into Game 3 here in this best of 5. Hopefully, we get a Game 4 and a 5 here.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that, too.
I think I got the hiccups. I think it's going to be a bad cast. Sorry.
The hiccup cast.
Yeah.
No, I'm hoping Trigger pulls it back. He's absolutely capable of it. Classic is, in my opinion, the best Protoss player in the world right now. But Trigger, his control is so good. I feel like he didn't really get a chance to showcase that much in Game number 2. In Game 1, he certainly did. He was in a very tough position, and he fought like hell to make Classic earn that win. Hopefully, set number 3 here on Tokamak will go a little bit better in Trigger's favor. I think we would all love to see some more PvP.
Battle of who's got the better fan in the room. Might go to Trigger.
It's better position,
position for that fan.
Yeah. I actually cannot play with a fan on me. I don't know why it bothers me so much.
Yeah.
I don't know how these guys do it.
No, every once in a while, like my wife is so sweet. She'll it's like a hot in the stream room, but she'll set up a fan next to me while I'm streaming, and the air just blows in my eyes, and I'm like, "Don't do that! I'm in the middle of laddering.
Yeah,
it's drying my eyes out. I can't play." This is Game 3, guys. Fingers crossed for Trigger here. Otherwise, this is going to be maybe the shortest best of 5 in the entire tournament.
Yeah, PvP usually a pretty quick matchup, and
yeah, but it's funny, Protoss. When you look at the different races and how they kind of blossom in tech, Protoss is pretty hard around the edges. You get your cybernetics core always, but then there's these very sharp twists in the tech tree, right? The Stargate is radically different from what the Robotech is. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times that creates an interaction that just basically ends the game, right? It's like, okay, so, I've got a Warp Prism, and you don't. I can just out-micro you here. I have more Phoenixes. Even like in techs where you go for the same thing, it can end quite quickly here.
Yeah, describing the matchup as rock, paper, scissors is a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but there certainly is a little bit of that at play. And it's just a luck of the draw to some degree when it comes to the opening builds. Of course, you can mitigate that with scouting, and we've had players like Max Pex have great success basically just doing the exact same thing every single game. Everybody knows he's going to do it in terms of fast expansion, and he's still able to pull it off. That has changed a little lately as players have gotten better at, in particular, the Warp Prism Stalker Pressure that we saw Classic do in game number 1. That is really, Hold on a moment. Okay, Mapu is highlighting the cybernetics cores, and for a second I thought that somebody had thrown down 2 cybernetics cores, but no, he's just highlighting the time difference between those two. As we do have a proxy pylon here in the top left for Trigger. What do you make of this, Tasteless? What do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. I mean, it could be a Robo. It could be a Stargate. It could be a Gateway, right? Yeah, I mean, it's very tough to say. Sometimes you can look at the position of the pylon and kind of glean. Like, the closer it is, the more likely it is to be a rush. The further away it is, the more likely it is to be hiding tech. So Trigger's going to go for a Stargate over here. So this is, would this be for a Void Ray or an Oracle?
I think it almost has to be for an Oracle, right?
Yeah.
I would be surprised to see any kind of Void Ray push with this. I think if you're going to push into a natural expansion or up a ramp,
yeah, I guess I'm thinking of
9
different
times
iterations of StarCraft when I saw the Void Ray, actually. So Classic's going for the Robo.
In base this time, notably.
Oh, you know what I did, actually? This is so funny. For some reason, I decided that Trigger was red. Actually, I thought that this Stargate was rushing down, is what I mean. I don't know why I did that in my head. I flipped him. Yeah, I don't know. So let's see. It is going to be for an Oracle. And keep in mind, because Classic is still inside the base scouting, he doesn't see this. So he's basically picking up some false information.
Yeah, Trigger with the high ground is going to get the first shot here in the Adept versus Adept battle. And with his Shades, should be able to chase this one down, although it seems like Classic will be able to escape with at least one of these Adepts. A bit bruised, but everything considered, not too bad here for Classic. And for Classic, even though he didn't proxy the Robo, he is still planning on doing kind of the same strategy that he did in game number 1. We have more Stalkers in production. We have the Warp Prism in production. Shield Battery is underway here, getting ready to... Oh, I thought that was going to be the mineral line. In fact, it's just to intercept and block the path here of this Adept. So this Oracle might get something done. Stalkers are going to attack it now. Trigger now pivoting into the main base. How many probes can he kill?
Okay, he's going to come in now. Already no shields. And, wow, 4 probes. Yeah, so, I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Now, there's a Warp Prism moving across the map.
Yeah, Classic wants to do a big Stalker pressure again here. He's actually building an Immortal right now, but this Oracle, not just the 4 kills, it's also bought Trigger quite a bit of time and given him crucial scouting information. He knows this push is coming now, and he's getting ready to absorb the impact.
He's making... Is that 2 sentries? I just missed it.
Yeah, 2 sentries.
Okay, so he's going to go for a double sentry, and it's going to be this little hit squad moving in.
Oh.
Now, this is annoying, but this Oracle is... Okay, that's a lot of kills. Oh, but he takes it out. Okay, so suddenly that whole tactical pin is gone. But it might have already done enough damage that it's going to slow Classic down. It's going to be hard for him to produce units.
Yeah, Classic does not have much economy behind this right now. I'm wondering if he's even going to remake these probes here on this one base. He's trying to get some economic damage done. 5 probes is a fantastic start here for Classic. Getting closer to equalizing. This Warp Prism is going to take a little bit of damage. That means that Classic will have to be a bit more timid moving forward with the positioning on that Warp Prism. We can't have the same aggressive Warpins that we saw in game number 1 of this series here in game number 3.
The juggling's going to be a little bit harder to actually pull off. So he's going to basically gear up for this big attack now.
I think this is just the one punch that Classic has got with his economy back at home.
No, he basically has to end the game here. So he's going to gear up for this push. We should see 1 Guardian Shield and the rest are for Force Fields. Now, he might let that Force Field just dissipate and then move in. I didn't see how many Stalkers Trigger had, but I think sentries. So okay, so the Immortal can't wiggle through that little, it's a little bit of an imperfect Force Field there on the ramp, but it can't move down there.
These Force Fields are so clutch for Classic. He isolates the Immortal, doesn't let it get down into the natural expansion, and this was looking so good for Trigger a moment ago, but there just wasn't enough to stop the push into the natural expansion. Classic doesn't care if he loses 9 probes early on. He just wants to muster enough army to battering ram down this natural expansion, and this is feeling very reminiscent of game number 1, Tasteless.
Yeah, I mean, this is just... He's going to unpower this, too. Wow. Okay, that's crazy.
Oh, no, the Force Fields. The Immortal can't even shoot here for Trigger.
The Immortal's having a seizure right now. It's like,
it's 2 Immortals like phased into each other. That is brutal. Wow, Classic going to win game number 3, and that is a clean sweep here in PvP.
40 minutes. We're halfway through. That's crazy. I mean, Classic played really well. Former RSL champion. You know, it's funny. This was actually the GSL. This interview happened. I think you were working with me that day, and he said in this interview, like, it's been 10 years since he was a champion. And it's like, oh my God, it's been that long. Like, StarCraft II is now, I think, 16 years old. But yeah, that was that long ago that he was on top. And then he, kept playing. This is right when I die. This is my final words. Excuse me. He kept playing, and like, he's back. He's winning tournaments again. It's so cool. And he looks untouchable in PvP.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise that he fell in second place in the group stages, but it looks like he is locked in again for the playoff bracket because Trigger, he's no slouch. He's got incredible control. PvP is usually a very control-based matchup, but Classic, it's a very cutthroat matchup as well, you know? And it feels like Classic in every single game just found one tiny edge and then never relented with it, whether it be like one engagement or like sniping a couple of Phoenix there in game number 2. And in case Trigger, he's going to fall into the losers bracket. He will be facing the loser of Maru versus ByuN, which will be happening later today. Classic going to be advancing into the winners semifinals.
Okay, so coming up next, guys, it's going to be Maru versus ByuN. That should be an interesting match. I am a little bit worried that just might be a 3-0.
It could be.
I've casted these guys a lot, and I think ByuN is a great player, but Maru is just, you know, at times on another level TBT here.
Oh, yeah. His TBT, I feel like Gumiho is the only player that really holds a candle in TBT. Kira's also gotten considerably better at TBT versus Maru, specifically recently. Maru was just his kryptonite for years in GSL. But, yeah, it's a bit of a mismatch, but who knows? ByuN might surprise us.
Guys, do us a favor. Get on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. You can type in @Revive SC2. I didn't know about this, by the way, until recently. I guess that's how you can find a YouTube page versus just trying to find videos. But we're trying to push this out in the YouTube algorithm because YouTube is the biggest thing by far on the internet, right? I mean, just so many people get, you know, news or spend a little bit of time on YouTube. And that can kind of help us. What they do is what they call cross-pollinate. They can find us on YouTube. They can come onto Twitch or... You know, you find us on Twitch, then when you don't have time to tune in live, you can join us on YouTube. So the YouTube has been growing pretty fast, but, you know, the more it grows, the better it is for this show and for StarCraft II and, yeah, for our whole mission out here.
Yeah, even if you're watching live and you don't really need to watch the VODs because you're on Twitch, you're catching RSL every single day of Season 2, like you should.
Sounds like you've got your priorities straight.
Yeah, maybe even watching with a tasteless TV RSL pin.
Yeah, it's with an RSL mug.
Yeah, even if you're watching live, like go to the YouTube, like some of the videos, subscribe. It would really help us a lot.
We're gonna go to a break. When we come back, it'll be our next best of 5. We'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be moving into the Terran versus Terran. Trigger has been 3-0'd by Classic, and Classic will be fighting the winner of this match we're about to cast.
Yeah, some really explosive games from Classic. He's looking very strong again. You know, he didn't even look that shaky in the group stages, but of course he did kind of get upset by Raynor.
Yeah.
Finishing second in the groups, but yeah, Trigger is no slouch in PvP, and those were some pretty convincing wins. So I think the Classic, you know, sometimes you wonder after a big tournament like EWC, for instance, players take times off. They might go on a vacation. They might relax, just take a break from the game. It feels like basically everybody in the RSL, at least in the playoffs right now, is just completely locked in. The gameplay has been really high level.
Well, I think, you know, we had a weird year for StarCraft II where we didn't know if we were going to beat EWC, and there was like no tournaments, and then there was a ton of tournaments. So I feel like everybody's in crazy shape right now.
Yeah.
Like EWC just finished, and then RSL just started. So great condition.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun to see who's going to win between these two, Maru and ByuN. You see them both laughing and smiling a little bit. Maru and ByuN, of course, very good friends here out in Korea. Love to workshop builds together, love to practice together, but today, Tasteless, they are going to be mortal enemies because M&M's.
M&M's are my favorite candy. They're going to have to kill each other here, State.
Yeah, only one will emerge. Actually, one of them will survive. It's not. They're going to the loser bracket to face Trigger. One of them is going to go on to fight Classic should they win. We have Evil Heart, Botanical, and actually Cenotaph should we go to a map number 5. I would love to see that. Some really interesting maps here in the lineup as game number 1 is loading in now between Maru and ByuN. Let's get started with this TBT here in the RSL Season 2. Maru, the blue Terran, spawning in the bottom right of Maganatha, and ByuN, the red Terran, in the top left.
Yeah. TBT, by the way, also, it does seem to have become a shorter matchup in the last couple years. So hopefully it's not. For the sake of our show, I would like to have a little bit more time here to cast this. But let's see what happens, man. I mean, TVT, there's so many different types of unit combinations you can get once you get the barracks, the factory, and the starport up. So we're going to see, how ByuN's going to try to take Maru on. These guys are good friends. ByuN has sourced a lot of strategies from Maru, but he is not in any way a carbon copy of Maru. Like, ByuN's always had his own unique approach to the game, and ByuN has definitely had moments where he starts to, like, remember the double racks Reaper that then everybody kind of picked up on? I mean, he's definitely changed the whole meta and matchups as well. But I would say that there is probably a skill disparity between these two, and that Maru is just a little bit stronger.
In TVT especially.
In TVT specifically, yeah.
Especially given the power of mech lately in TVT. I know that Mario has, at times recently, needed to take a break from traveling to tournaments or even competing in tournaments, especially leading up to EWC because of, I think it was either a shoulder or a wrist injury or a combination of the both. And, mechanical play is, like playing mech, is significantly easier on your body than trying to stutter step micro bio in basically every single matchup, right? And so for Mario, it's something that he's been leaning on a little bit more, and it's hard to say from an outsider looking in whether that is more of a choice about where the meta is at or where the balance of, the Cyclone right now is at, or if it's something where, he can just lean more heavily into playing mech because he can get more practice games in because he's feeling less pain or less discomfort.
Yeah, I've heard this, that like, okay, so you're having, like, a lot of, I think the damage in the wrist tends to come from stutter step micro.
Yeah, it's just that repetitive action, right?
Yeah, I mean, they call it like a repetitive stress injury, right? But then when you have to stutter step a lot, that specific, like I actually had a wrist injury, and I think it was from scrolling. It was like a long time ago because I would scroll, I would go on various websites and move it around, and I think, that motion is like painful. Like, I don't scroll anymore. Now I'll click like the bar and hold it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I just find the scrolling motion. But I sometimes if you have wrist problems, it's like the stutter step micro input, and doing that over and over really fast can cause a lot of pain.
Oh, it's very interesting. All right, here in game number one, ByuN going for a faster expansion thus far. Maru going for a little bit faster tech, and you can see the time difference. ByuN's command center just now finishing up. Maru's about 60% done, whereas Maru's starport is just now finishing up, and ByuN's starport just under halfway underway. And so Maru probably is going to have a tempo advantage should he decide to leverage that into something aggressive. And I feel like in TVT, the current state of this matchup, there is a lot of potential for tactical play that can just absolutely be a kill move.
Yeah. And we're going to see who pokes in first. There's been a lot of banter between these guys here in this game.
Yeah, I've been trying to stop reading it because I can't watch the production.
No, I can't do commentary and try to read a second language here. But we're going to see who attacks into who here. It does look like it's going to be Maru picking up and moving out. And, one of the most, I think, historic matches in my mind was actually Maru losing to Time in IEM Katowice in Poland. I can't remember which year, but years back. And I remember thinking, wow, the TVT really changed because he lost because of just these, like, surgical attacks from Time. I guess Oliviera was his name at the time. Yeah. But Maru since then has, I think, changed a little bit of his own TVT. He's very, very engaged early on here. So he's going to be dropping right when the third command center starts. So this could not be a better moment to hit.
Yeah, dropping right into the main base right now. But the Cyclone Lock is going to connect there on the medevac. It finally does get out of range over here at the top left. And so many SCVs just fell. The combination of the Reapers and the Hellions take down 10 workers in total. That was way more damage than I was expecting, Tases, I must say.
That was a lot. So now we're going to see, a period where already, ByuN's taken some serious losses. And, Maru, it wasn't even like it was much of a trade. I mean, that mine hit so well, and then he targeted down each injured SCV beautifully. And so ByuN's going to come in here with a second attack. He's got one Banshee coming out. I don't think this Banshee can do as much damage as the first attack, but the first attack, as far as ByuN's concerned, already did too much damage.
In terms of tech choice, both players are going to be going into bio. Maru, of course, behind that explosive attack there in the main base is going to have a significant economic lead. Double engineering bay is going to come down here for ByuN, so he might try and drag this one out to be a bit of a longer game, and I like this move. ByuN actually laughing a little bit, catching the medevac over there in the top right with the Cyclones. Just really nice.
These two guys just smiling as they're playing.
You're not supposed to be this happy when you're playing competitive RTS.
Yeah, this is just having a good time. ByuN is getting beaten pretty badly, though. So the the Banshee's going to come in here, and I mean, it's already going to be 2 more kills. I think he's going to try to trap it with auto turrets here. I don't even know if 2 auto turrets can get this. Oh, maybe he can. Oh, he kind of. Oh, I'm sorry. For some reason, I didn't see that auto turret on the right. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, the price of 2 auto turrets to kill the Banshee isn't bad, but I think Maru is going to be attacking out in a second here, and you know, Ravens a lot of times can just decide fights. So, you know, expect Maru to do a push in a little bit here. He did start a 3rd CC as well, so it's not like he's needs to close the game out, but he should have a room for an attack here.
Yeah, and ByuN, although he's going for the double engineering bay upgrades, he's a pace behind Maru in terms of tech timing, because Maru just went for 1 engineering bay only, but he got it significantly faster. That's going to mean that +1 infantry weapons, it will time out around the same time as Stimpack, as Combat Shield, and it's going to pair up beautifully with this double medevac drop going into the main base. So Maru is going to have a +1 weapons advantage here when this drop commences in the main, and that might set the stage for a follow attack later.
Excuse me. So we're waiting for this upgrade to finish. +1 attack's done. The Ravens are way at the bottom left side of the map. They could not be in a worse position. A scan, and he could actually even snipe the SCVs as an example that are making these barracks. This is a lot. So Maru's going to unload here. The Ravens are still curving around the bottom of the map. Oh my god. He's going to pick up at the last second. I think that Cyclone can kill that. Yeah, he's going to take that one out. Unfortunately, it was the other medevac that was full. And now it's going to be ByuN's turn to try to get some damage in here.
Yeah, auto turrets coming down here in the natural expansion. A couple of SCs do go down as ByuN's going to move his way into the main base. 2 more auto turrets coming in. Some nice damage opportunities here. I wonder if Maru's going to be able to catch these Ravens as they retreat across the map. Let's not forget that he does have that 1 medevac full of Marines somewhere lurking in the top right quadrant of this map.
Okay, so he's going to land this CC out here. A scan comes down. And, you know, I mean, Maru, again, he's kind of just been like 1 step ahead. Oh, is there a tank in here too? Okay,
oh, yeah.
I don't know how well prepared ByuN's going to be for this moment.
Yeah, that tank is going to inch forward into the 3rd base, and ByuN's just going to double down, go into the main base once more with these Ravens, going to try and find some more economic damage. And I'm looking at that mini-map. That 3rd command center has lifted. It is low on HP. Maru's going to stim. He has +1 infantry weapons. So that command center is going to go down. ByuN reset down to 2 bases, and that was a very fast 3rd CC. A lot of his economic growth was going to be reliant on having that 3rd command center done. And it just now gets restarted. Maru's already landed his 3rd command center. It's been mining very effectively in the past couple of minutes, and even this fight, Maru's escaping with a lot of the bio. The trade wasn't that bad. I'm loving this. I mean, the units lost. You look at the resources, it is very even, but the actual trades, it's been Maru getting economic damage done onto ByuN.
Yeah. Oh, they're just going to pass right by each other. I think ByuN is not going to be in this game for much longer. Maru's basically played a perfect game here. The the Ravens are going to do what they can to try to kill workers, but there's another huge drop over here. Again, stacked on top of a lot of infrastructure. Maru's going to dive on this tank and take it out.
Yeah, this is a hell of a drop here in the main base of ByuN. 2 or 3 siege tanks already in position right now. ByuN's going to try and breach through. SCV is getting pulled. The Marine line falls, though, and Maru pushing forward. Dude, what a game coming in from Maru. Just every trade was so good. ByuN is getting a counterpunch in now with these 2 medevacs full of Marines. I think that command center is going to fall, so he is able to reset Maru down to 2 bases, but it's 28 workers to 60. This is still looking so good economically for our Blue Terran player. As long as he's able to stabilize back at home against this drop, which he should with the siege tank and these reinforcements now coming in, I feel like it's just going to be GG.
Yeah, you know, at this point in time, this push has done so much damage. It is eventually going to be picked up. Maru, of course, always able to eke out a little bit more, saves 2 units before he pulls back out. And he's going to send these medevacs out probably to wind up for another attack here. 2 Liberators are being made here with this as the 3rd CC is going to land. Did ByuN remake the command center? I actually didn't see.
Oh, that's right. He should have a 3rd command center somewhere in the main base. I might have been
wasn't
calling
really
this
looking
one
for
a little
that.
bit early. Yeah, in any case, ByuN, he's not in a very good position right now. Maru, he's actually going to lift the main command center into the 3rd base to get the fully saturated mineral line. I like that choice a lot here. He's going to be able to instantly saturate this and have a superior economy over ByuN. And just the standing army right now for Maru is massive. He might not have +2 infantry weapons, but he does have vehicle weapons. And I just don't see a way that ByuN's going to be able to secure this 3rd command center, even if it is done somewhere in his main base. How do you combat this army of Maru just knocking on your front door?
Okay, so the bunker is going to be taken out. There's 1 tank just at the top of our screen. I don't see what's above that. I see 3 tanks are in this game, but they're not protecting the entrance here. Probably because there's been so many drops in the main, honestly, but oh, he doesn't get that. If the tanks can get in range of the CC, it will eventually force a fight. So ByuN's going to come in. He does get the disables off. There's a 3rd tank in the back. The Marines weren't quite able to get in range of these tanks as quickly. They only take out 1, which means this 2nd tank on the left is going to be undisabled, whatever you want to call it. It's back in the game. And he's going to try to inch it in. He's going to just slide it up right over on that little area, that little ledge that sticks out. 2 more tanks are going to siege up. And Maru probably was macroing back at home. He didn't quite react that fast. But, I mean, there's still this foothold. He doesn't break him.
Yeah, Maru's ByuN, is having a very hard time breaking out of this position. And unless he can secure a 3rd base at some time, there's just no way that he's going to be able to keep up economically here. With Maru, this army is just so potent. More siege tanks are streaming across the map right now. We have a lot of reinforcements coming into this natural expansion. Even a drop coming in as the medevacs pivot. Siege tanks are getting in position right now. Will they be able to take down the siege tanks there of ByuN? No, they will not. Actually, ByuN with a really nice control, able to jump on that position, take down those 2 siege tanks that were trying to get entrenched right in front of the natural expansion, and he will stabilize. I've been thinking that ByuN is dead for like 3 or 4 minutes now, but somehow he is just sticking with this. It's still looking like an uphill battle, but my goodness, ByuN.
I mean, ByuN is really hanging on here. But I think that's it. I think there is just enough out here. The SCVs are going to be pulled. There's just 3 more Marines going to come in here to probably just barely kill off all the SCVs on this tank. Okay, maybe not.
ByuN is just by the skin of his teeth surviving all of these moments where he should, by rights, be knocked out of the game. In fact, even picking up 4 medevacs here as Maru retreats. That's pretty sick. Now, Maru does have a 3rd command center that's going to be coming online. This
fourth command center is going to be coming online.
No, he lifted the main base to drop it over here at the triangle expansion.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. These tanks are actually... Are they stuck?
Oh, they are stuck.
Okay, that tank sieged up. Okay, yeah, he notices
that makes sense.
Seconds after we see it.
I saw in the units tab that Maru was up like 2 or 3 tanks. And I see the reinforcements from across the map, and I'm like, it doesn't feel like he has 2 or 3 more tanks.
It feels like he's even on tanks in those pushes.
He was saving them for later.
Oh my god, that was an unfortunate land there. He landed a little bit late, so all the SCVs are going to be returning minerals. That's actually the command center, from the main here for ByuN too.
So I guess he canceled that 3rd CC, or Maru was able to deny it.
That's actually probably not a bad way to play it. To just like kind of lock in and macro and wait until you exhaust your main and then throw it over there.
All right, well, this is a much easier position to attack into than the natural expansion. There's a big concave you can set up here as Maru, and with only 1 siege tank in position, Maru is just going to push forward. 2 more siege tanks for ByuN are reinforcing. They're trying to get sieged up right now, but Maru just continuing to push on through. The Marine line is falling here for Maru, but too much economic damage is done. And finally, ByuN is forced to tap out. But what is it with today and these really tenacious efforts?
I mean, the guy that's dying is fighting back.
The resilience is insane right now. I mean, ByuN, I really thought that after the Doom drop in the main base with the double siege tanks and the Marines, after the 3rd base got killed, all these things kind of came together, and I was like, all right, well, ByuN, it's looking like your time is up. But somehow he's still able to eke out these engagements where he just survives. It makes me eat my words. It's very remarkable. The control both from ByuN and Trigger, these are 2 of the best microing players that we have here.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I mean, ByuN kind of always known for having maybe the best control on some days here in Korea. Definitely fought back well. Maru just kind of, everything he did worked. The first drop, I think he killed 10 SCVs.
That was 10.
Which is a lot for like a first drop. So we're going to go to game 2 in a second here and see if ByuN can come back. I do think ByuN has a better shot at getting some wins here, but that was a game where like everything that ByuN tried to do basically got shut down.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of that just comes down to the early game for Maru being so much better. Mapu gave us a look at the units lost tab about halfway through that game, and it was basically dead even in terms of resources lost, but the critical part of that is that Maru was losing army and ByuN was losing units like SCVs. And so over time, the economic advantage there for Maru just continued to compound, especially with his third command center, even though eventually did get sniped there by ByuN. I want to say it was like 3 or 4 minutes that command center was mining, where ByuN was just basically on 2 bases. And so just so many things economically were advantageous there for Maru, but on set number 2, we're moving to a much more aggressive map tasteless. It's going to be Evil Heart in this TVT.
This has been a fun map to cast. I'm glad we're going to get a game on this one here for these two. So yeah, it's going to be Evil Heart. We have Maru in the bottom left, ByuN in the top right.
Yeah, and I wonder how Evil Heart is going to impact the builder selection here in TVT, because we've noticed in basically every matchup, because Evil Heart just has a very short rush distance from third base to third base, and if you look at the fourth base options for both players, neither of them is very easy to take. They're quite wide open, they're quite disconnected, and you have to kind of fan out your bases in a way that you really don't want to. It exposes a lot of service area for the attacker to abuse, and even notwithstanding that, there's just not a lot of bases on this map. It's, I think, the least bases I've seen on like a tournament map in Legacy of the Void ever, if I'm not mistaken. I'm really struggling to remember any Legacy map with less bases than this.
I think we should have more maps like this.
Yeah, it's fun.
Map makers take note. More, sometimes less is more. You know what I mean? Like, so what is it? 1, 2, besides the main, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases you can expand to. I wouldn't even mind seeing a map with 1 less base than this.
Just to kind of get crazy tasteless.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm serious. Like, just try. I mean, we can always try it, but you know, when you make new maps, if it doesn't work out, it's like, okay, well, we can just remove it.
Yeah.
We don't even have to like wait for the game to get patched or something, right? This is like something the whole scene's kind of in control of.
I think it's tough to do because the tournament map pool is basically always the ladder map pool in the current history of StarCraft II. It's been that way for a couple of years now, at least. And as a result, you have to also keep in mind not just the pro players, but also everybody that's laddering in StarCraft II has to be able to deal with those maps. And people tend to not like the really quirky ones. Even myself, I'm praising Evil Heart, but when I play the ladder, if this map was on it, I would veto it 100%.
No, I have the same thing. I have the same thing when I ladder and I go, well, I'm not going to do these.
Yeah, but you know, the pro players, they can figure it out, man. The games have been very fun to watch.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit of greed there from me, but I've been really enjoying this map, and also maps like Kill Switch that have been featured here in RSL.
Yeah, exactly. So in this game, it's going to be ByuN's Reaper for a second stalking Maru's Reaper back there. Maru's going to make a command center on the low ground. ByuN playing slightly more conservatively, makes his CC on the high ground. He's going to land that onto the low ground a little bit here. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of waiting for things to pick up here. It's, you know, that standard fast expanding Terran with the 1-1-1 tech getting set up. And it's basically once we see what add-ons and then what units are made, we'll know what kind of game we're going to have.
Yeah, a bit of a parallel here from Game 1 to Game 2. In both of these maps, Maru is the player who's expanding a little bit slower than his opponent. And as compensation for that, he's getting more resources to tech up more quickly. So his starport considerably faster there compared to ByuN's. And this is usually the kind of tempo that you build up with that leads into a timing attack. And actually, Maru getting really ambitious with his Hellion and 2 Reapers moving up the ramp, and ByuN was well prepared for that. Oh man, the Hellion shot, actually, look at that. I think that's 2 shots in a row from the Hellion where he lined up Maru's Hellion and Reaper and was able to hit both of them. And that seems like such a minor thing, but that was excellent control there by ByuN.
Yeah, great control. ByuN going to land that CC now, and he's going to be going for Cyclones here. For now, Maru is going to be getting that medevac in his tanks. If we see a tank this quickly, it could mean he's going to try to do some kind of little tank push at the front. Of course, the danger of that is, you know, the Cyclone is always the strongest in between the travel distance of that. You know what I mean? Cyclones can, like, you know, target tanks or medevacs or anything like that. So, yeah, we'll see if it's actually going to be Maru who's going to be attacking first in a little bit here.
Yeah, he does lose a little bit of momentum after that push up the ramp of ByuN's base did not go to plan, but still, with a faster starport, it seems like he should be able to get something done. Actually, a siege tank here and 4 Marines.
Yeah, okay, so he's going to do what I was talking about. He's going to set up right out here. Now, if the Cyclone can catch this, it's big. So that's the interaction we're waiting to see for, and it doesn't. So he sets up. Now he forced a siege in kind of a useless spot. The tank wants to be in range of the CC. So what Maru's going to do is he's going to loop around the bottom here, and a target on that medevac, he pulls away. Now, the medevac plays a funny role because it can heal, it can move stuff, but it also needs a spot if it's going to be on the low ground. So he's going to come back up here onto the high ground.
Yeah, a lot of pivoting here from Maru. Auto turret is going to get dropped. That even focus fires down the siege tank. So Maru losing the siege tank as the crux of this build. He's going to have to pull back at least a little bit. There is a Viking reinforcing now. Do we have another siege tank here for Maru? It looks like no.
Yeah. Well, the tank is kind of the centerpiece of the whole thing. Okay, so he's switched into... Oh, these are landed... I almost didn't recognize them with this skin. I was like, there's a new unit in the game! Oh, my God! So he's going to come in here now, and he's already killed 6 SCVs. The micro's been really, really good with his Cyclone. He actually stays out of range and doesn't die back there. 9 SCVs killed, and if the Cyclone doesn't bump in anything, it could actually get away here. The tank is sieged up. That was so good by Maru.
Yeah, that was really well done. It reminds me of game number 1. It's kind of the same story, although we got there in a very different way. Maru is trading his army for workers, and cost efficiency-wise, it looks pretty good for both of them on paper, right? But the fact that ByuN is losing all of these workers and Maru is trading army for economy means that he's going to be scaling better as we head into the mid-game. And ByuN behind this, he's playing quite greedy. He's going for a fast 3rd command center, which is already done now. It's transforming into an orbital. And Maru, he's adding in Liberators, he's adding in Vikings. He is gearing up for a full push.
Okay, so he's going to scan here. And ByuN has to hold this. Now, he's got 2 Ravens. You can always make something happen with that. And there's no Ravens on the side here for Maru. And when you see it set up with these kind of units, you're basically looking for the tank disable. There's a lot of Vikings here, which means he's going to have the spotting advantage. You can scan to get that. I guess we say it all the time, but it's worth repeating because I think people sometimes do. Tanks can fire farther than they can see. So in tank versus tank, if one guy has air to spot, that's big. And so he's going to have the Liberator come in here, and this is going to force ByuN to scoot back a little bit. And Maru is going to try to inch in here. The Vikings get landed, and they soak a lot of the damage.
Yeah, pretty good trade right now for ByuN, actually. This is a lot of very expensive key units here for Maru that get taken out. He's losing the air superiority advantage, and I feel like he did not get the damage done that he was expecting to.
You know, I gotta say, it's so funny to watch how slow Vikings are just in general, by the way.
Yeah.
Flying or on the ground. So Maru completely bungled that attack, and ByuN's gonna come through here with a counterpunch. One tank in the front is gonna get picked off.
Wow,
yeah, that's gonna be
just it. GG. I mean, ByuN, his standing army after the end of that engagement was so solid. I would have to kind of rewatch that fight to see exactly what went wrong for Maru, but it felt like he just kind of pushed it a little bit faster than he should have.
I think he shoved a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
He shoved a little bit too hard. Auto turrets came down. I mean, obviously, when you're fighting against tanks in siege mode, you got to be very careful, right? There's a huge defender's advantage there. I think it was something if we resumed from replay back there, we could have had a very different fight.
Yeah, those fights usually swing one way or the other so quickly in TVT, especially when both players are playing double starport like that. It's something that I feel like, if my memory serves me correctly, we didn't really see this very much until I want to say the latter part of last year.
Yeah.
These very highly technical double starport pushes, like the really fast double starport, sometimes even triple starport, I think, that we've seen in the past, where it's all about the air superiority. It's getting that vision so that the siege tanks can do their jobs. It's getting protection for the Liberators so that they can force a player like ByuN in that situation to unseat, retreat back, and eventually corner themselves in the base.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maru maybe just biting off a little bit more than he could chew.
No 3-0.
No 3-0.
Thank God. Guys, we need your support. Consider signing up for the Patreon. We've got a ton of people signing up already. It's been an exciting process for us to just put on our own seasonal tournament here. And we're going to give you options. If you support us, you can, depending on the tier, you can vote on maps, players, all that stuff. So consider it. There's other great StarCraft Patreons out there as well for tournaments and creators. So definitely check them out too. But we hope to earn over your support.
Yeah, and of course there are a lot of very good perks that you can get on that Patreon as well. We have replay packs, there's voting privileges for things like maps. It's one of the reasons that I almost said Kill Heart instead of Evil Heart and Kill Switch.
Yeah.
Some of the reasons why these very cool maps are in the pool, so we would appreciate your support there.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on with this TVT Best of 5. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be going into the third game here. Right now, tied up 1-1. I think ByuN did a great job holding that attack. Maru seemed a little bit too, how do I say this? He was like rushing the process a little bit. I mean,
a little overeager.
You can kill, I mean, it happens all the time. Terrans will kill each other on 2 bases, but if you overextend, you are going to die to a counterattack.
Yeah, I think he was feeling very confident because the early game was just so good for him again. Yeah. I don't know if he got 10 SC vehicles like he did in game number 1, but it was a lot of economic damage.
Yeah.
And yeah, it feels like Maru wants to play these really aggro games in TVT. We've seen the same story both in game 1 and in game 2 where Maru is expanding more slowly but taking up more quickly. And then he's trying to use that advantage, leverage it, and do some kind of harassment and then follow up with the timing. And game number 1, it worked for Maru. And game number 2, maybe a little bit too fast with a push in, and ByuN made him pay for it. So we're going to be going to Persephone here for map number 3 of this best of 5.
Yeah, this is going to decide who's going to then take the lead here. These guys have been bantering the entire time.
Yeah, even
lots of smiles here.
When we're on break as well, guys. It's like we have the chat open to the StarCraft II client, and they're just going at it. Very good friends.
All right, guys, we're ready to go into this third game here. The map is Persephone. Let's see who takes the lead.
Okay, Maru spawning here in the top left. Has the blue Terran. ByuN in the bottom right, excuse me. I don't know the spawns, I'm a fraud. No, the bottom left here of Persephone is the red Terran. Yeah, the banter's pretty fun between these two. Maru, after he pushed into the natural expansion last game and he killed a bunch of SEVs, he's just like, yeah, I guess I'm playing pretty well today. And then ByuN just clobbers him. It's a lot of fun. Oh, look at this. Gas first opening for ByuN.
Yeah, that's interesting. Gas before barracks.
I wasn't paying particularly close attention to the early game builds. So I'm not sure if we've seen this already in the series from ByuN, but I'm feeling like this is probably going to be much faster tech here from the red Terran.
So on this map, I don't know if it's going to be a long game or not, but drops in the main are really good TVT. Drops in the main in general, you can, if you get tanks sieged up and everything, it can be really, really hard to deal with. But your mains are kind of pointed at each other, and you're not likely to have a base underneath this position early on. So I don't know if it's going to be a factor, but just something to point out. There's Maru here with 600 APM. How is this even possible?
It's not even counting the words per minute.
I know, he's typing too. It's like, what?
No wonder you have an injury, buddy.
Yeah. Is this how you destroyed your wrist? You have like a 500 APM while you're typing?
He hits ByuN too many times with the ladder game. It's carpal tunnel from typing too much. Too many bants.
Okay, so we're going to see what that early gas is for in a little bit here. The command center has started. You can see right now ByuN has pocketed 100 gas that he's sitting on. And so the factory is going to start. But Maru's factory was a little bit faster. So I don't know. I honestly, I feel like usually I can kind of explain what's going on. I don't really know what's going on right now.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back in game 1 and game 2 and look at the very opening builds here for ByuN, because this does look like the same opening setup. I wonder if the factory is just a little bit faster this time, and that's what the gas first accomplishes, because Maru, both in game 1 and game 2, was able to eke out an advantage via harassment with his faster-paced tech. And ByuN, even here in, a little bit of a Reaper engagement right there.
Yeah, looks like the Reaper's going to get away. Do we not have game sound on?
Yeah, I was wondering what was wrong for a moment.
I had this moment where I'm like, something feels really weird. I think Mapu might have accidentally turned off because I hear the music.
Yeah.
But then
hopefully that'll get sorted in a moment.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah, in any case, because
okay,
sorry, I lost my train of I lost my train of thought there for a second.
Moment where something was happening on screen. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Something's wrong. Something's not going on here. Okay, so we got that fixed.
Yeah, but going back to my point earlier, I wonder if this is an adjustment from game 1 or game 2 where he's getting his tech a little bit faster, because actually look at this, ByuN his starport, even though he has the faster CC, his starport is faster than the starport here of Maru. So he's kind of closing the gap where Maru's been able to get this advantage in terms of having the faster tech that allows him to basically execute some kind of harassment earlier in the game, which ByuN has been struggling to deal with, frankly. In game number 1, he lost 10 workers. In game number 2, I can't remember how many, but it was also around 10. This might be a very smart move here in game number 3 to try and just tighten up the early game defense.
So, we're waiting to let the tech develop here. ByuN is going to get that first Raven. Along with the Cyclones, Maru once again is going to be going for Tank Marine here. And then with the medevac popping out, we'll see if he actually moves across the map to attack. It seems like he already has the Reaper and the Hellions ready to move, but he is going to pick it up. Just had to do a few things. Take care of a few loose ends before he got that pickup. So he's going to be moving out. He's leading with the Hellions and the Reaper, so it doesn't look suspicious. So like if this gets spotted, it just looks like it's some fast-moving units in the middle of the map, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's actually an attack. ByuN's basically using the in-game clock to be ready in case there was a drop into his main. He would have engaged right there. This is going to be an attack right out in the front, and the auto turret goes down. The tank, I think, is literally at full health here, so it's still okay. He might actually seesaw up into the main instead.
Yeah, it looked like for a moment Maru was trying to see if there's any production in range of this low ground so that he can drop the siege tank right in the mineral line and try and get some damage done. Instead, he just tries to go for this supply depot, but that's going to prompt an engagement here from ByuN, and ByuN with some nice micro, that Cyclone lock-on, able to take care of the siege tank. Maru, his follow-up behind this has been reactor and Vikings, and so his game plan was to keep that siege tank alive. That's a crucial part of the push here for Maru. Instead, he's going to have to wait until the next production cycle completes here on that factory, as I think the next siege tank is maybe about a quarter way across the map towards ByuN's base. And look at this. I completely missed this. ByuN, in the face of all this pressure, is going for a low ground third CC.
This is wrong.
And Maru is like, he's not even scouting for it because it is so brazen. Like, who would possibly do this?
It's like not logical. He's going to end up getting chased into the command center. But here's the thing. Maru's not doing anything so far. Now, he might pivot his attention to that because it's, extremely exposed. But imagine he had killed the SCV making that and forced to cancel. That would have been massive.
Yeah, now the command center is going to be finished up, even if ByuN gets pushed out of this position. It's
hold on,
almost finished up.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay,
command centers are actually done when it's 99% done. Like, I've seen it happen a million times before. It's like, it finishes itself if the SCV dies. He gets it to half health, but it's, obviously it's such a short travel distance.
Yeah, 2 more starports now coming in here for ByuN.
Wow.
We are going to see the 3 starport play. This is so cool. Maru just now adding in his second starport. And ByuN, these double starports are going to be him trying to close the gap because Maru has been just pumping the gas on Viking production for the longest time. I think it was literally just 1 medevac into reactored Vikings. It's a lot of space to make up here for ByuN, and now with a little bit of an SCV pool and some Marines pushing across, he's able to take down one of the siege tanks. In fact, both of them, Cyclone also able to lock onto the medevac, and ByuN has just completely pushed Maru out of this position, only losing 3 SCVs.
Yeah. Maru's not done. He's going to keep pushing. This is going to be ByuN on the receiving end for a while here. Although I don't think there's any obvious weakness in ByuN's position. I guess you take what you can get, right? Like, there's 1 depot here. Kill that. Just do anything you can to get ahead. He can use the Vikings to basically spot upwards. Good job basically pulling that damaged Viking out. Thing is, some of these attacks out, they're very small little groups, right? It does seem like every time ByuN has, like, just a little bit more in general.
Yeah, and there's also the defender's advantage, which is quite noticeable here in that these Vikings for Maru, they're very low on HP, but every time that ByuN moves back into his natural expansion, it seems like he's repairing all of his mechanical units because his Vikings are just max HP basically at the start of every single engagement, which obviously it kind of fudges the numbers a little bit here for Maru, who had the faster reactored Vikings, who has still a pretty fast second starport. ByuN is only just now overtaking Maru in starport production, making Vikings 4 at a time instead of 3 at a time. But it's a bit painful when you're getting these engagements here as Maru, and your air superiority is already in question because your Vikings are so low HP. Now they are repaired up, but there's so many Vikings here for ByuN.
Yeah, he takes out the reactor. That's probably the best thing you can hit when you start to go for infrastructure. We're watching the Vikings actually dive on the tank, and the landing from Maru's like a little bit late. ByuN is styling on him right now.
Yeah, this is like extremely high level micro, but it's just there's just something about Vikings just dodging each other where they're just like one of them like you're trying like the moment that Maru lands, ByuN is trying to lift his Vikings back up. It's just I love it. It's very cool to see. We have a fusion core right now about to complete here for Maru. Additional tech lab also in production. I wonder if we might just have Skytear in here. It certainly is going to be mech coming in from Maru. We have another factory getting added on. There is potential. Yeah, we have a battlecruiser in production. We might be just going straight into Skytear, which is the supreme composition in TVT.
ByuN's got a 4th base here in the bottom right. Maru basically had to back up. He overextended one too many times. And I think ByuN's going to try to slip up here into this 3rd base. I don't know what's actually up here to defend. It doesn't seem like there's anything, actually.
Yeah, it's mostly just air here as the Vikings are going to be getting the engagement going on. It looks like a little bit better here for Maru with the focus fire, plus ByuN's Vikings being quite injured from the previous battles. Eventually, those will get cleaned up. Maru also, with his siege tank on the low ground, able to take down one of ByuN's siege tanks. So the army engagement, very favorable here for Maru, but ultimately, ByuN is able to force the liftoff and kill some SCVs.
Yeah, I mean, he forced the lift. Maru, you know, he's the same size supply-wise, but he's almost half the size as far as, you know, bases and position. I mean, it's looking really ugly here. ByuN's going to get another tank out here. That command center is going back. I thought it was going to rotate to the triangle expansion, but instead he's just going to push right back in there. He's got to be careful, too. That can get sniped.
I think the battlecruiser is what's giving Maru the confidence to push in right now, because the moment he takes air superiority here, I don't think that Cyclone and those 4 Marines are going to be doing very much to deal with this BC. Without Viking support, Maru will have to retreat a little bit, but with repair and 4 Vikings being produced at a time, eventually Maru should be able to secure this 3rd command center again. He's also building 2 more CCs at the junction between the natural and the 3rd. So he is powering up economically. He still has a worker lead. The moment he's able to saturate these bases, he is going to move past ByuN in terms of income.
So interesting, man. Yeah, ByuN is still kind of low on those workers. I feel like he said that bottom right base forever, and I don't see SCVs moving down there.
Oh, he just built it on location. It's been under production, basically. I think it's just now turning into an orbital.
What? I thought it was a landed command center for some reason. I just decided that. Okay, so then that makes more sense.
Yeah,
I was like,
just now finishing the orbital, I think.
Okay, so we've got the Liberator coming in here. It's going to start to take out some of these SCVs. Only actually gets 2.
It does bait the BC into the main base, and ByuN was perhaps trying to use that as a distraction to, you know, pull the BC away and then potentially snipe it here with this large flock of Vikings, but ultimately not able to get too much damage done. Maru pivoting back into Viking production of his own right now. Double siege tank production as well, and with his 4th base coming online and 12 worker advantage here for Maru. I'm liking this a lot for the Blue Terran. I think that Maru, just the fact that he already has BCs on the map, I think that's better. ByuN is going to try and deal with this composition on the ground, potentially even just with Battle Mech. He's adding in 2 additional factories, he's continuing Cyclone production. Ultimately, I think that the army compositions are going to favor Maru, but ByuN, because the Battle Mech is going to be much more mobile, the Vikings and the Cyclones relative to the BC comp and Viking comp of Maru is going to have a lot more flexibility in terms of movement. He has the potential to catch Maru out of position and start to really build momentum that way. And I think that's kind of the angle that ByuN needs to find if he wants to eventually deal with a sky fleet of Maru.
So the Cyclones are going to try to come up from the side here again. Maru's bounced back pretty nicely. You know, he's got everything he needs mining. They're both actually dead even in workers, by the way. 82 on both sides. But they, you know, it seems like if ByuN's going to go for battle cruisers, the tech is a little bit later, right?
He's doing it now.
It'd be funny to see them both go BCs. This is more common in super endgame TVT to see kind of a battle cruiser arms race, and usually that's prompted by the fact that there's nowhere else on the map to gain ground without, you know, possibly overextending, so it kind of elevates the game from the ground to the air. But if it's BC versus BC here, the Yamato cannon is an extremely important factor.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to be BC versus BC. ByuN is going up to 5 starports right now, Chaseless, which is just a ridiculous number of starports in total. 3 more command centers in the way. So it seems like the double factory there on the low ground for ByuN at the natural expansion was more of just him shoring up the ground production to make sure this transition is safe for ByuN. Because perhaps Maru, if he had restarted the BC transition a little bit faster, might have been able to get some damage done. And look at this, by the way. These supply depots, at least I think they're supply depots, are basically all these expansions on the top right quadrant of the map. That is a really smart move from ByuN. It almost feels like we're casting a PvP when you see those.
Yeah.
Like a Phoenix versus Phoenix war, because it's a common tactic to try and block a Nexus getting thrown down. In this case, it's going to be blocking the command centers going down and forcing possibly siege tanks or BCs to go over there to clear them out.
Okay, so ship weapons and plating are finishing up here for Maru. Game quieted down a little bit. You know, when you're taking in these big, heavy, expensive units, there's really no incentive for either side to try to attack in there. I do like the placement, by the way, from ByuN to even just throw down these depots.
That's so cool.
You'd be amazed, like one depot sometimes placed somewhere where you're supposed to where you're trying to land a command center. In a game where you're trying to do like a million things at once, that can end up with you just not getting a base there and maybe losing the game.
Yeah, like how does Maru get rid of these besides just attacking them with SCVs, right? You know, ByuN is going to see it. The units that Maru has to deal with them, I think it's mostly just siege tanks and BCs, and those are both very critical units there for Maru. Or he's going to land some Vikings or something, right? And the fact that ByuN has these Cyclones, he can just pivot and pick off a couple of these units, even if Maru is able to take down the command center or the supply depot to secure his expansion. So, no, it's a very minor thing. I mean, ultimately, it's what, 300 minerals for 3 supply depots. That's not a big deal, but it is a very clever tactic coming in from ByuN.
Okay, some scans coming down here as Maru might be looking for a position on the map here to pounce on. And, you know, quietly, ByuN's actually taken, I think, almost every base he can take. He doesn't have that one on the left side, but, like, he's taken the gold base. So ByuN's taken that small expo lead, and he's kind of led into this late game here with that. And, I mean, Maru is going to have to come back here and fight for more territory. Maru's actually making 4 command centers at home, so he's going to also have a bunch of bases coming up. He's just playing more conservatively, probably because he's just has been slightly behind for most of this game.
Okay, Maru does, in fact, have 2 Cyclones, so that's going to be the little squadron that he uses to clear out these supply depots. ByuN is trying to chase him down with Cyclones of his own, but of course with the sensor towers, Maru is able to evade that for now. I'm just watching this little cat and mouse game on the mini-map as these 2 Cyclones try to evade. So many scans are getting thrown down, too, to make sure. It's like a little mini-game between this because, you know, the 2 Cyclones, they're not really consequential at the end of things, but there isn't much other action happening.
Right.
And I'm wondering, big picture, at what point are we going to start throwing away SCVs here as ByuN? Because we have so many, command centers. 2 more CCs just got thrown down, I think. And ByuN might have just built, I want to say like 3 or 4 more starports. So we're almost at like double-digit starport right now for ByuN. 11 starports, dude! I don't think I've ever seen 11 starports in a single game of StarCraft.
I don't think I've ever seen it either, man. This is crazy. Yeah, so you were mentioning this earlier, but I think it's definitely worth repeating, is that like eventually you need to just have a bigger and bigger army. And since Terran have mules, then the SCVs become expendable. But it's going to be ByuN coming in here first. Now, we're going to see Maru warp in. How is this going to happen with... Okay, so he's actually going to warp away. Where did he warp to?
Yeah, just back at home.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, just
how does Yamato work if you warp in somewhere? Is there someone who has an inherent advantage with that?
I don't know like the nuances of that engagement, but I'm pretty sure that there's like... I want to say it's like a quarter of a second or a half a second where the BC could still take damage before it completes the teleport, but it's a very small window, so... I don't usually see mass BC versus mass BC.
Dude, he's got a turret push. This is so sick. So basically, the only thing that you can do to add damage in a fight of this composition is to just have turrets lining the bottom area below the battle cruisers.
Yeah, the turret, although it has a man in the turret, does not cost supply.
That's right. That guy does not eat. He does not need to be fed. Cyclones are going to come up here. Funnily enough, they're locking onto the SCVs.
Bit of a Viking flower right now here for ByuN, but Maru's staying out of range. It's kind of turning into a war of attrition here in the center of the map. Maru with a much better gas bank here than ByuN. I think a lot of that is because he's spending so many minerals on these missile turrets. My goodness, so many turrets.
Yeah, this is crazy. I don't think I've quite ever seen this.
Yeah,
this is so cool. Okay, so yeah, he's just gonna kind of snake his way through the map. How many turrets are in this game?
33 right now.
33,
I don't think that counts the ones under production either.
I think it does not.
Yeah, it's about to be 40-plus turrets here, and the majority of them are right in the center. And this is a really hard position to break into here is ByuN. Like, what do you do about these turrets? None of the things that are going to be good against the turrets are going to be good against the Vikings and the battlecruisers of your opponent. And it's 26 Vikings right now to the 19 in the favor of Maru. ByuN does have 2 more BCs, but I'm really liking the way that Maru is playing this. ByuN just lost that command center on the bottom right side of the map. ByuN does have more Ravens, so disables are a possibility here. He's able to actually focus fire down one of those BCs. Easier said than done because of how clumped every single unit is.
I mean, the question is like, if this isn't stopped, I mean, I guess ByuN is just going to die out, right?
I think so.
What's interesting is when you watch this, you don't see ByuN doing the same thing at all. Like, I wonder if he's seen this before. Like,
Maru's done this occasionally. I mean, this is like a supreme late game. You don't get these games very often.
Yeah, well, but he's not answering with his own turrets, so it's like, it feels like this is just like a slow motion, you know, stab through the heart. He's eventually just going to get here. He will cut the position in half.
Well, ByuN with his Yamato cannon is able to take down both of the Thors, and that's going to mean, oh, look at this, Maru actually teleporting just half a screen away to try and find an angle of attack. He will not get punished for it as ByuN retreats. ByuN does have 5k minerals in the bank nearly, and 2.5k gas. All right, another engagement coming in. ByuN is going to back off, armor shredding missiles on both sides, both players with 3/3 upgrades here in the air. ByuN could pull the SCVs from a ton of mineral lines, use that to absorb damage, and then start macroing up more army on the 11 starports that he has. The problem is that would kind of be an almost all-in move, right? Because you'd be sacrificing so much eco.
Okay, he's going to hit hard now. I think ByuN has a slight upper hand, but then you have to factor the turrets in.
Yeah, the turrets are the saving grace right now here for Maru. He's able to kite back with these Vikings. ByuN with the superior BC numbers has more firepower, but the kiting potential here with the Vikings and the turrets, they pair so well together.
The thing is, ByuN has like 4k minerals and 800 gas. Maru's actually the one that's stockpiled more gas. So we'll see what that actually means when they, you know, remake that, when they fill that supply back in. Hey, does Maru not know about the 3 o'clock base?
He knows about it now. He just sent an army over there to deal with it.
Because I was going to say, like, the fact that this has been here the whole time is a little bit alarming because, you know, the idea with a push like this is you're going to ice them out of a lot of other positions they would want to be on the map. Now, the fact that he recalled here, this, and dude, funnily enough, he's over a speed zone too, which means the Vikings can kite even more.
Yeah, this is a funny little interaction in this corner of the map. The Vikings, I think, also, in theory, air units can't go to the healing zone here, but I think the Vikings could land and heal, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that, actually, yeah.
It's such a neat... I've never been in a situation like this one before where that's a remote possibility.
A lot of times in mech vs. mech, there's very little repairing going on during a fight. Okay, so this CC is going to go down. He's going to move in again. Yamato cannons are going to be cloned out.
It's a ton more BCs right here for ByuN, but there's so many missile turrets that they can't really... ByuN can't leverage that advantage, you know? The battlecruisers, they have to get in close range. And so for Maru, it makes a ton of sense that he's playing lighter on the BCs, heavier on the Vikings, and even adding in some Thors. These are all units that he can utilize the range and kite back to the safety of these missile turrets. The missile turrets are basically the staging ground from which he's able to, like playing whack-a-mole, take down these expansions here of ByuN.
Okay, so he's finally going to be able to take out this planetary. Does the Thor outrange a planetary?
I think I don't know. I think it normally does, but I'm sure both players have the high-sec auto-tracking to increase the range of their buildings.
Right.
That's a good question. I have no idea. That'd be a great trivia question.
Yeah, it was actually not. It was one of the things I haven't really thought about.
They might have the exact same range.
So, oh my god, there's a bad rally here. So basically, he's like right-click the starports. Oh my god, this is really bad for ByuN.
Yeah, that's painful.
So, yeah, we don't normally see rally fails here, but the idea is he wants everything from the starport to immediately merge with the big fleet he's already got, but that if it does a beeline for that, it's going to go right into the... So you need to have that shift clicked, like somewhere in the lower right, and then up on top of the army.
Vespene gas is so pivotal to these armies that ByuN is distance mining from that bottom right base.
Yeah.
With 9 SCVs. It's actually a very smart move, too, because he has a command center close to it on the low ground of the ramp.
Yeah. So funny.
This is such a cool game.
Yeah, this is crazy. We're like 23 minutes into this game. Now, if ByuN even if he loses this gold base, I mean, gold bases mine out pretty fast, but like he will have had more resources on the map taken, which could be a major factor here. There is no vacant base on the map. Every single base is mining. And when you factor mules in, that means we're going to mine out pretty fast. Now, ByuN is sitting on double the minerals. Hold on a second. We got another attack in here now.
Armor shredding missile. Trying to find Yamato connections is ByuN. Not really able to get them. And Disable tech just came in on these Ravens here for Maru. Is he going to go for that? Oh, interference. It's actually not just done. 15 seconds away. Maru has a ton of Ravens with this army. Right now, the better in this engagement, I have to say, going towards ByuN. I love the angle, especially with the Vikings and the BCs both pairing up away from the missile turrets of Maru. With interference matrix done, a lot of these BCs of ByuN can be disabled here. I think how many Ravens do we have here for Maru? It must be double digits. They're low on energy now, but I almost feel like, okay, well, that's a lot of BCs. At least half these BCs can get disabled when the engagement commences. What a wild game.
So, I mean, ByuN might be able to just run away with this game. Look at Maru's income kind of plummeting here. Remember, there's not that many bases on the map. I think this may all come down to the fact that this gold base went undetected.
Oh, big intercept right now from ByuN. The Vikings and Ravens come back to try and stop the BCs from taking down this planetary fortress in the top right, and then the Vikings from ByuN entering from the bottom right corner are able to take down so many key units. This is a big moment here for ByuN. That was a successful trade. Able to take down the base, able to take down a lot of Ravens, a lot of Vikings. Actually going to be teleporting every single BC, even the reinforcing BCs, on top of Maru's army. Has ByuN actually done it? It's still so close, Tasteless.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. ByuN is going to be killed off here. He's losing this fight, but is he going to lose the war? The speed zones are going to be very handy for the Vikings to hunt this down and kill it. Okay, so ByuN has spent all of his money, or almost all. He's got a little bit over 1K in minerals, but you get what I'm saying. He was like... So, Maru wins this fight, but when the next wave of units comes in, is ByuN going to have enough? Maru... You know, it really goes to show you, some units are worse at retreating than others. So the gold base is going to be taken. Now remember, on a map where we could literally run out of resources, the bases that are left over become important. You know what's funny? I kind of forgot about this spot that we're looking at. Yeah. Maru could take that.
He could. And the most important thing is that ByuN can. He's distance mining from only one Vespene geyser. Vespene gas is really the limiting factor right now. GG is called. Dude,
that's funny. He's just laughs. He goes, LOL, GG. That was, that really highlighted the difference in expertise on a very, very specific kind of StarCraft game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Maru is just the champion of these kind of plays.
Every once in a while you'll be in a game and it's like, oh, I've done this before. There's like this whole weird song and dance we have to get into. Kind of like, when you see Phoenix versus Phoenix, like some people are like really good at handling that. I love the turret push. Maru looked like he was pretty dead. Like when I saw the gold base taken and then like Maru didn't get it for a while, I'm like, okay, this is over. This is over for sure. Not over right now, but I mean, ByuN is going to win this game basically. And then that turret push comes down, and you can see ByuN didn't even match it with his own turrets at the time. It's almost like he didn't know what to do. Pretty crazy. And then I guess some of the nuance I just don't know with Viking battlecruiser. Raven, what you want to target or what you want to look for, but you know who knows? Maru knows.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he played that match just absolutely beautiful. Probably the hardest person in the world to beat in that kind of TBT endgame. Maru has really been at the forefront of Skyterran and TBT for a very long time. And I guarantee that's a kind of game that both Maru and ByuN have played a bunch. We don't get to see it that often, but with how much these guys practice, it's an inevitability. I'm sure they've talked about it before, but Maru just absolutely seems like he is in his element in a moment like that one.
Yeah, he looked really good.
I mean, the turret push especially, it's just so suffocating there for ByuN. And in a game that gets as hectic as that one, you see, like a player of ByuN's caliber.
I don't think that ByuN was supposed to attack across the map there. I think that was a mistake. I think when you get to ByuN's position, I think you actually don't do literally anything.
Maybe.
Other than make your own wall of turrets and just let the clock run out. Because like, why in that position? Why would ByuN need to go to the top right and stop that base from mining? Why?
Yeah.
Answer me,
I don't know, Tasteless. No, it's
Sorry. Ziggy, you like that one, eh? Every once in a while, I get a good joke off, and then I look over at Ziggy, and he's cracking up. And I'm like, oh, we're having a good time. No, I mean, it's like, yeah, it just seems like there's this when I was learning the game, there was this guy who was coaching me. He was so smart. And he talked about win more moves. You just have to win. You don't have to win more. You just have to get past a certain point where it's like, okay, I've got the conditions are in my favor. And I don't know why he would wade all the way out into dangerous waters to kill off a base that, like, I don't know. I mean, or even just like, I don't know, send Hellions over there or something. Send something up. Because, like, that was the crown jewel of the army, right? Was all the battle cruisers and Vikings. That was kind of what the entire game was about. Yeah, I don't know. That's my take.
No, ultimately, you're right. It did not go in ByuN's favor. Maybe if he pulled back after killing the command center, because the planetary fortress, he was able to get it. He even intercepted a ton of Maru's forces that were coming to protect the planetary. The start of the engagement was so good for ByuN. I think maybe it was the decision for him to stick with that fight and teleport every single BC on top and just fully commit, because there was potential for him to retreat. He does have the speed zones behind him. The BCs can teleport away, but I don't fault ByuN for that whatsoever, because we're casting it, we can see literally everything, and I thought it was a smart call. I saw that and I'm like, oh, I think ByuN is actually going to win this game with a teleport, because I'm watching the production tab. He has like 5 more BCs in production. When I see the teleport, I know he's not trying to just teleport the BCs that are like half a screen away. He's trying to get all of the reinforcing BCs immediately into the fight. It was a very ambitious move. I think it was a smart one. In the end, it didn't pan out there for ByuN. Yeah, just awesome game. I love casting a TVT like that. I love casting games where I feel like I'm out of my element. Like, I don't know what's going on. It's like an adventure. Special. We're trying to figure something out.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of times, whether you play or watch or cast, sometimes you'd be like, I've basically seen this game before. Like, I've definitely had, I kind of know how this turns out. I know what part to look for, but like a game like that, I'm like, wow, this is just crazy.
I think I've casted maybe 2 or 3 games in total. I think we just had a
crash. I'm not sure.
Yeah, potentially. We're rubber banding all the way back. I'm not sure if that happened.
That was crazy.
I'm not sure if you guys saw that on the stream, but our monitors for a moment, we had a little bit of a hiccup there in connection.
Was that us? Did they not see that?
I have no idea, but we are back now.
For a little bit, we were just like that Reaper that's making 360s there.
Yeah, Tasteless started spinning just like that Reaper the moment the screen started rubber banding. He started doing turns.
That was okay. Well, I guess we don't have any technical snafu here.
Nah.
So, it's going to be 4 Hellions here being made, and we'll see if he's going to be attacking out with those.
Yeah,
it's once again, ByuN always likes to go with that Raven. It seems like Maru really wants to go for the medevac.
Yeah, just to quickly wrap up what we were talking about with those games before.
Yeah.
I feel like I've casted, I want to say I might have even casted some of these games at EWC, like games that kind of look like that from Maru, and it's usually Maru who finds games that get to that position. But like I can probably count on one hand the number of times it happens. And every single one of those games, positionally, they feel so different, especially because the map architecture impacts like where you're going to throw down the missile turrets, whether you can even do that as a viable strategy.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome. I hope we get some more TBTs like that over here in RSL. Anyway, now getting into this game, Maru leading the series 2-1 to specify at his match point. He's going to be trying what has been working for him for the majority of this series, which is really aggressive early game play. I like the opening engagement right there. Able to snipe down a couple of Marines, even getting the Reaper there. Man, beautiful start here for Maru. Auto turret is a possibility here. It does get thrown down. Maru quickly boosts the medevac, lifts everything up, and scoots away. Very nice control right now from Maru. I think he's even throwing down a 3rd command center behind this. He had 500, 600 minerals a moment ago.
Oh, man, the targeting's pretty good. We've got a Cyclone out here now. Nice auto turret. That's going to drive him back. He could save that Cyclone as well. Again, great juggling here. As long as the Cyclones are there and in higher number, you can continue to kind of fish out those units.
Yeah, that was some really good damage. And behind it, Maru is going for that 3rd command center. ByuN is still on 2CC. And any time that you're the aggressing player and you're getting pretty good trades done while you're being more greedy behind it than your opponent, that is a win.
Okay, so he's going to drive him back now.
Cyclones might be looking for lock-ons on that Raven. We're going to try and use the high ground advantage a little bit here. Scans just to confirm the range right now. Cyclones, much like a siege tank, can shoot a lot further than they can see. So ByuN eventually is going to be able to stabilize, but once more, this third CC, it is nearly done here for Maru. ByuN, no third command center just yet. So is ByuN going to flip the script a little bit here in game number 4 and try to get aggressive? If he does, yeah, he throws out a command center and 2 engineering bays. I was going to say, if he does get more aggressive, I'm not exactly sure that it would work. Maru's infrastructure is just a little bit ahead of ByuN's in basically every facet. He has the faster third CC. The barracks are coming online faster. The stim pack is coming online faster. 1-1 is coming online faster. I mean, the early game here for Maru, it is so advantageous.
Yeah, Maru's just, I really like the way he set this up. So now, I think Maru's probably going to be able to come out here with another attack. Stim's going to finish first, by the way. Maybe one of the biggest upgrades as far as like power spikes is if you can get Stim before another Terran gets Stim. Because Stim Marines will always beat not Stim Marines. So we may see a push into that. Now, he doesn't know when ByuN Stim is, but I'm just saying, if an attack were to happen, that would be big.
Honestly, if I was in Maru's shoes, seeing the timing of the third command center, I would expect to be behind in upgrades, right? Because I'm the player. Maru is the player that is expanding more aggressively. Naturally, you would think, all right, well, there must be some compensation for ByuN from that, but no, just the early game has been so fantastic right now, and Maru...
Yeah, so here we go.
If I was in his shoes, I wouldn't be doing this, but man, Maru, he just knows TVT inside and out. He is the specialist in this matchup, and he knows that he has an opportunity to get some damage done right now. 3 Cyclones...
He's got a great instinct. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, 3 Cyclones leading the charge right now, and this junction between the natural and the third base is wide open here for Maru to get something done.
Oh my god. Okay, I actually thought Maru could have tried to hit those tanks there. He's going to come in now, and he's just going to run into the natural. This is so sick. He's just going to... Okay, only 1 tank shot hits. He cuts right through. His tank is now chipping away. Auto turrets are going to come down. It's a must in this moment. And Maru picks up and gets away. That's 17 kills. That was such a nasty little attack.
Yeah, I mean, ByuN just kind of pulled apart right there. And Maru, his siege tank is also perfectly positioned. It was hitting every single unit trying to reinforce the natural expansion. And ByuN was able to defend, but at what cost? He lost 17 SCVs.
Dude, that was so sick. And he just, like, gets out.
Yeah.
I thought for a minute, okay, well, at least he'll lose the siege tank. No. Absolutely not. He gets out immediately, and he's just going to come in and look for another angle here. ByuN keeps setting scouts, and they just keep getting killed off right before the attack comes in. Okay, I don't know about this one, but let's see.
Well, these siege tanks actually can see each other. Maru with the Marines able to take the better end of that trade right now. He's building a 4th base on location. ByuN is simply trying to stabilize right here on 3 bases. Armor shredding turret's going to coming in. Okay, we have a big stim coming in from ByuN. He's going to try and push Maru out of this position. That siege tank is disabled, and Maru is wisely just going to retreat to his reinforcements.
Nasty play. He's so good.
Yeah, honestly, this is so impressive because a lot of the tactics that Maru is using in terms of his movement and his positioning, in particular with the siege tanks, it's based on the map architecture, and this is botanical, man. This is one of the maps that was voted in, if I'm not mistaken. So cool.
You know, it's funny because we can watch these exchanges and like, hey, ByuN's not dead yet. He's hanging on. But you got to look at the mini-map and think, okay, he's actually getting so much bigger behind this. You ever had these games you're like defending, you're like, I'm so good, I'm so good. I'm like, I'm going toe to toe, and then you go and you go, oh, he has like double the bases I have. Like this is, I didn't realize I was actually, there was even more going on than it looked like. The real story is the mini-map. Another scan here, and I don't know that Maru can get up here again. Okay, he's just going to stim. He's going to go for it.
Yeah, Maru charging in right now with the concave massively in favor of ByuN. ByuN's patience finally paying off right now. He's able to take down every single siege tank and all of those Marines.
Where are these Cyclones coming from? What is happening here?
Yeah, I was wondering for a moment, maybe the Cyclones, they roll there as to try and intercept the medevacs, but just a few too many reinforcements there for Maru.
Infantry upgrades are going to finish again here for Maru.
Oh, he didn't miss a beat either. I feel like the upgrade differential wasn't that significant for 1-1, but look at the gap between 2-2.
No, it's actually kind of crazy. And I would not be shocked if he starts 3-3 immediately. Okay, so ByuN's going to move out for the first time here and try to get some of his own damage done. Now, if I'm looking on the mini-map, Maru was probing that area. Although I think these two squads are going to miss each other. So there could be a lot of damage here. We got to see how prepared Maru is for this. We don't have a shot of the main yet, but let's see what's in here.
Yeah, ByuN about to be dropping the natural expansion. Sensor tower not yet done here for Maru, so he has no idea, but there is a missile turret very well placed. And the engineering bays, I like that positioning, man. They kind of block one of the key drop-off locations for those medevacs. ByuN just has to scoot away.
Okay, so he's going to come over here from this side.
Nice intercept here by ByuN. Gets a siege tank, catches a good number of Marines too. And this is going to force Maru to bring a lot of his forces back. He's going to show a lot of respect for this push, but still, he is just inching further and further ahead economically. And a lot of this comes back to that initial move when Maru moved into the natural expansion, when ByuN had sequestered most of his forces at the third base, because the economic damage, you see units lost very even, but it's the same story as game 1, it's the same story as game 2, where Maru was able to get a lot of economic damage done.
Okay, so he's going to scan here. He's going to try to push through. This tank is really well placed, but it is taken out. And I don't know what's actually protecting the third here. I think there's nothing there. The Marines are going to try to come in. There's a lot of tanks to meet these, though.
Yeah, that's so many siege tanks. We have 5 siege tanks behind all of this right now.
I mean, all the infantry are killed. We see more streaming in here. But this third base is, like, completely unprotected. So you can actually see ByuN's just going to shuttle some more Marines over. He needs something. Maru took a second to go back and do a macro cycle. And then he's going to try to inch in here. And by the way, this position, if ByuN can't get control of this, he's going to lose control of 2 bases. Because nothing can go down that ramp right now.
Oh, this is such a pivotal position.
Yeah.
Maru's even taking the gold base right now at the same time. The Liberator takes down the siege tank in the natural expansion from ByuN. Dude, Maru is just on fire in this game number 4. The positional play, specifically in this section of the map, has been superb. ByuN going to go for one last Hail Mary, trying to drop Marines on these siege tanks, trying to take them down with friendly fire, but it is not going to be enough.
GG.
Wow, Maru putting on a clinic in game 4.
Nasty.
That was awesome.
Nasty play.
That's impressive TVT, man.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's really good. I mean, he really brought it.
My goodness.
This guy plays a lot of StarCraft. That was impressive.
Yeah, that was a really fun series. And ByuN brought the fight, man, too.
I like the third base on spot with Cyclones out. It's like, I mean, it's a strong concept. Like, you're so in their face, they're not ever going to be able to go and stop that.
Yeah. I mean,
that was
a very well-played series by Maru. Even the map that he dropped, let's not forget, he had a very good lead in the early game. He just got maybe a little bit over-eager pitching into natural expansion. He was also in a winning position there, and yeah, that's just incredible, dude. What a great series.
I love TVT, man.
It's fun.
I love TVT.
I'm a little bit out of my depth when I cast TVT. Like, I've casted a lot of TVT at this point. I even started like playing random on the ladder to get better at my Terran and my Zerg. But when you see players like Maru and ByuN, the knowledge is so deep that, like, it's hard to really grasp all the techniques, all the tactics, all the strategies that they're deploying.
StarCraft II, I mean, I'm casting ASL right now. It's always funny for me when I'm casting both the StarCrafts. The mirror matchups to StarCraft II are so good.
Yeah.
They're so good.
TVT in particular, I think, is like maybe one of my favorite matchups to StarCraft II.
I love the way it works. And it's so, you got the 2 glass cannon sides, so it's like lots of damage, no HP. Things can turn on a dime. Anyways, that's going to do it for us today. Maru wins. This was a great series, though. I'm glad. The Trigger Classic one was a little bit short, so I was a little worried we might not. We might be done in like an hour and 10 minutes or something. But we had a nice long, full show here for you guys tonight.
Yeah, and with Maru winning this series, he's going to be moving on to face Classic in the winners semifinals. Yeah. That's a pretty stacked top 4 right now in the winners. Of course, ByuN, he's not out of the tournament just yet. He's going to fall and face Trigger in the losers bracket. This is a double elimination playoff format. So, Kira versus Zaun, Classic versus Maru. I'm liking that a lot. I wish we had one Zerg in the mix, but at least Where how one of Shin and Raynor survive into the losers' quarters. Not a lot of Zergs in this season of RSL.
You know what? I mean, I know everybody's crying on the forums. I know you guys got a box of Kleenex next to the PCs, and you're mad that the Zergs aren't doing well. Well, guess what? They had their time. You're
just pissed off a third of the audience.
That's fine. Zergs have won a lot of tournaments. We all know this, okay? Let them have their moment in the rain, all right? Maybe they come back. Maybe they start to win again.
Yeah, it's like that pivotal moment in the drama.
You know what I want this to be? I want it to be like Warcraft 2, where there's only 2 factions, okay? Let's go backwards. No, I mean, who knows? I mean, the 2 Zergs we've got are very strong. They could try to... They could fight back. We could have them in the finals. We'll see. We're going to be on tomorrow and the day after, guys, so be sure to join us. We will have gone through an entire season of RSL in the month of September.
It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot more StarCraft ahead, and it's all part of a bigger picture, because not just do we have RSL Season 2, which is what you're watching right now, but we also have Season 3 coming in the pipeline later this year. And on top of that, takes us to the offline finals, live from Seoul in December, with a prize pool, with players in an arena, with fans in the arena, with you and me in the arena.
Us in the arena.
It's going to be so much fun, dude.
And,
I live for live StarCraft events.
Oh, it's the best, man.
It makes
like
everything worth it.
It's a spiritual experience. Everybody kind of enjoying the same thing that they love. We're going to have more information and nail down dates for the finals. The offline event, when we have them, I guess. Archon Studio is our official partner here. The StarCraft tabletop miniatures game is coming. Get ready. Did you feel that in the air? Did you feel that? That's the feeling of the tabletop game, miniatures game coming out soon. All right? You want to get this. They've got some great products on their website. Check them out. We really appreciate their support. Thank you so much, Archon Studio. And guys, consider signing up for the Patreon. It's patreon.com/ReviveSC2. Go to the website, get the app. This is a great way to support your favorite creators and their endeavors. What are we here to do? We're here to keep StarCraft II alive in a professionally produced, slick broadcast. So, whatever you can afford to give, we are very, very grateful. And we love you guys. We love this game. So consider signing up. And consider getting some merch.
Yeah, man. You got the hoodies, you got the mugs, you got the shirts. Winter's just around the corner. I know if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, man, it's starting to cool off a little bit. Certainly it has here in Korea. It's gone from being incredibly hot and sweltering to only mildly hot and sweltering. So eventually those hoodies are going to come out.
One day you're going to be walking around in shorts. You know what's going to happen? Your legs are going to be cold. And you're going to have to put the shorts away because winter's gotten here. And you're going to need to put on your RSL hoodie to stay warm. Okay? Now, you're not going to not wear something under the hoodie. Okay, you're not an animal. Okay,
what are you gonna wear? Tasteless?
An RSL T-shirt,
of course,
and you're gonna drink hot cocoa out of your RSL mug.
It's the perfect way to spend the holiday season, man. Only a couple of months away.
Put some pins on the hoodie. We need to grow this YouTube, guys. Some of you are watching on YouTube. Hello, we see you. Some of you are watching on Twitch. Hello. One guy right now is someone's watching on X. We get viewers on X. Hello, people on X. Everybody, go to the YouTube. Consider joining our YouTube. Subscribe. We're trying to grow this thing. And, you know, when you first start a channel, it's hard to get it kind of piped through the algorithm.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are StarCraft fans, they don't know that this tournament's happening. Every day I'm getting, tweets or people message me. They say, I didn't know that this was going on. This is great. So, yeah, please help us grow that out. We also have the RSL After Dark podcast that's on there. That's it. That's it.
We would we'd welcome your guys' support, not just there on Patreon, but also on the YouTube. And even if you're watching live, man, just drop by, go on the YouTube, click the surprise button.
Hit the subscribe button. Whoa! I'm surprised.
I don't know what's with me today, dude. I'm jumbling my words so much, but we couldn't be doing any of this without your guys' support. So sincerely, thank you so much.
Yes, guys, we love you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back on tomorrow. Bye-bye.